I'd like to ask you a question. I'd like you to think of something that you desire. It can be money or anything else that you'd like to create in your life. Okay, now let me ask you a blunt question. Why don't you have it yet? The answer to this question is very important, and we'll get back to it in a minute. Let's face it, most of us from time to time feel that life is just one big struggle with a series of never-ending problems. Life doesn't have to be that way. In fact, it can be just the opposite. Life is not about struggle and overcoming problems. Life is about pursuing and creating what we truly desire in an easy and stress-free manner. Now, is there something in your life that you want, but it seems to elude you? And why is it such a struggle to create the things that we want? In short, if you don't have what you want, here's the reason. Your subconscious holds some contradictory intention for you. To put it simply, you want something and it doesn't. For example, you may say, I want more money, but your dominant subconscious belief may be, earning the amount of money that I want is very difficult. Notice anything different about these two statements? They're going in two different directions. So after years of frustrating and contradictory messages, you still don't have what you want. Now what's really happening is that your conscious and your subconscious are almost always in conflict. You consciously say, I want more money. Then after listening, your subconscious says, no matter what you do, it's too difficult to create that amount of money. As a result, there's no agreement between your conscious and your subconscious. Now when this happens, they cancel each other out and they give up on assisting you to create whatever it is that you'd like to have in your life. And you're not alone. Conflict, manifested as an emotional energy block, is common in almost everyone. Have you ever wondered why athletes go into slumps? Now this defies logic. There's no physical reason for any athlete to perform below par. He or she is the same highly trained athlete before, after, and during the slump. Yet, no matter how highly skilled, all athletes go through this consistently throughout their careers. Why are addictions so hard to overcome? Most addicts want to be free of their destructive patterns. They know and they'll often admit that their addiction is costing them their health, their relationships, their money, even their life. Yet, they continue to do it. Why is depression so hard to overcome? Depression is one of the most difficult psychological issues to handle. It's not unusual for an individual who suffers from depression to go through years of expensive therapy and yet still not overcome it. Why does healing sometimes take so long? We have a lingering cold that just won't go away, a headache or a pain that keeps coming back again and again, or a broken bone that takes forever to heal. Why do we self-sabotage ourselves? We try to change our behaviors or become more successful in our business or our career, and yet we often manage to fall back into our previous comfort zones with little or no real progress. Now, can you identify with any of this? Well, if you can, I have good news for you. That's about to end. You're about to learn how to create the life you desire and remove any and all roadblocks that have been standing in the way up until now. What's critical to understand is the competition, conflicting agendas, and disharmony between your conscious and your subconscious is what's keeping you from having what you desire. Now, why is this so? Because when your conscious and your subconscious are not in agreement, they produce negative emotion. And as you've already learned, negative emotion or energy attracts the very thing that you don't want. Now let me explain what's really happening. As we've already discussed, every thought is received by the brain, which is an organ of the conscious mind. It's here that it's subjected to our power of reasoning. When the conscious or objective mind has been satisfied that the thought is true, it's sent to the subconscious mind to be brought into the world of reality through quantum physics or the law of attraction. It's no longer susceptible to any argument whatsoever. The subconscious mind cannot argue. It only acts. It accepts the conclusion of the conscious mind as final. Put simply, Every thought that you think has its own energetic vibrational frequency. That thought is impressed into your subconscious mind. Then, through the law of attraction, it will energetically attract another person, place, thing, or circumstance that has a vibrational match or is vibrating at the same frequency. Your subconscious mind cooperates completely with your conscious mind when it understands and agrees with what you consciously want. In other words, when your conscious and your subconscious are not in conflict. When you feel negative emotions, that's a signal from your subconscious that you're not in harmony with what you desire. And this creates an emotional energy block within your electromagnetic system. This means there's a tug of war between your conscious and your subconscious. When this happens, you will be required to use the energy that you need to solve your problems or to create the things that you desire in life. This is what creates self-sabotage. There's a term for this called psychological reversal, which describes the difference in what we consciously want and what we actually do or allow ourselves to experience. All self-sabotage is the result of psychological reversal. Psychological reversal is also why people often try in vain to make more money and fail to do so, or they fall short in countless other pursuits even though they know they have the ability to achieve them. It's also a contributor to psychological blocks like writer's block, learning limitations in school, even dyslexia. Psychological reversal is the actual cause of what is commonly called self-sabotage. It's the reason why we sometimes seem to be our own worst enemy and we don't resolve our problems and fears, and why we don't reach the goals that we truly desire. Unless you understand psychological reversal, your seeming inability to make progress in areas that are obviously important to you can be mistakenly blamed on such things as lack of willpower, poor motivation, spacing out, or other forms of supposed character defects. It's vital to understand the role of psychological reversal in psychology, medicine, addictions, weight loss, and countless fields of endeavor, including sports and business performance. Where psychological reversal is present, little or no headway will be made. It literally blocks progress. Psychological reversal occurs when the energy system in the body changes polarity. This usually happens outside your awareness. You don't ordinarily feel it happening. It's a literal polarity reversal in your body's energy system. It's like having your batteries in backwards. Have you ever put batteries into something, then you turned it on and nothing happened? The reason was because there was a polarity reversal. Then you took them out, you put them in correctly, and everything ran smoothly. What you did was you corrected the polarity reversal. Psychological reversal often takes form of what psychologists call secondary gain or loss. For example, the person who consciously believes that they want to lose weight will often have an unconscious belief that if I lose weight, I'll only gain it back again. This person is psychologically reversed against losing weight. Whenever we have psychological reversal in any area of our lives, permanent or significant changes will become impossible. Psychological reversal keeps us from doing or having what we want, or not doing what we want to do. It's the result of our inner conflict. Since we don't have what we want, which equals failure in our mind, we're often left with feelings of self-blame, guilt, shame, self-rejection, self-condemnation, and self-judgment. This causes us to limit our progress because at a deep level, we truly believe that we cannot overcome our problems and have what we consciously want. Or, worse yet, we don't deserve to overcome our problems or have what we want. And so we punish and deny ourselves, which only makes us feel even worse. This self-limiting mechanism continues to run on automatic pilot unless we consciously do something to change our years of subconscious self-sabotage and conditioning. Now, how do we know when someone is psychologically reversed? One of the tools I use with my clients to test psychological reversal is muscle testing. I ask my client to rigidly extend an arm straight out from the side of his or her body while I push down on it to assess the strength of the client. Then I have a dialogue with the client, and I push down on their arm, and I have the client make certain statements. If there's a subconscious disagreement with the statement, the muscles will go weak and the arm is easily pushed down. Otherwise, the arm remains strong. This allows me to talk to their body and thus help diagnose where the problems might be hidden. By the way, you don't need to muscle test yourself, but you can do a simple exercise by taking a large sheet of paper and drawing a line down the middle. Next, you write yes on one side of the paper and no on the other. Now take a piece of string about 6 or 12 inches long and tie something on the bottom of the string to give it a little bit of weight. What you're doing is you're making a pendulum. Next, hold the pendulum over the paper right on the line in the middle, and then ask yourself a question to see if you're psychologically reversed. Your subconscious will actually move the pendulum to the yes or no side. Before you begin, ask a simple test question. For example, if your name is Bill, say, "Is my name George?" Then watch the pendulum and see what happens. Your subconscious should make it swing to the no side. Now you should hold your hand perfectly still in the middle, and you'll be amazed, but the subconscious will actually move the pendulum. Now you don't need to do this because you probably know that you're psychologically reversed to certain things, but it's an interesting experiment. I don't think there's a therapist or counselor who has not encountered a client or patient who simply cannot be helped no matter what type of treatment's applied. The resistance to treatment is frustrating to both the therapist and the counselors, and a disappointment to their clients and patients. These troubled clients are called by many names, including negative personalities or self-destructive individuals. But their situation's always the same. They seem to resist all help, no matter what approach is used. The client or patient claims that they want to get rid of the problem, but they don't respond to the treatment. One of my clients was an overweight woman who wanted me to help her lose weight. She said she was determined to lose weight. She'd been dieting with little success for years, yet she failed at every weight loss program, even though she insisted that she wanted to lose weight. I used the muscle test, and I asked her to picture herself at the weight she desired. What I found was when she pictured herself at her ideal weight, her arm tested weak. Yet, she still insisted that she wanted to lose weight. To double check, I tried a different approach. I asked her to picture herself heavier than her current weight. Instead of testing weak, she tested strong. Next, I took a more direct approach and restated the question. I asked her to say aloud, "I want to lose weight." She tested weak, indicating that her statement was not true. Next, I had her say, "I don't care if I gain weight." This time, she tested strong. Obviously, there was a discrepancy between what she said she wanted and what the test indicated that she wanted. I've used the same test on hundreds of other clients who were unsuccessful with reaching their goals. They all showed the same pattern. What they said they wanted was the reverse of what they really wanted when I tested them using the muscle test. Most people have some form of psychological reversal with reference to their major problems such as anxiety, weight, money, success in their business, and so on. What I have found is that when I muscle test my clients, a large number of them got weak when they thought of getting better or becoming more successful, and tested stronger when they thought of getting worse or staying in their current situation. I've also found that writer's block and most learning difficulties are often a direct result of psychological reversal. A good example is a student who can do well in all subjects except one. They don't know that they're psychologically reversed, but they give reasons as to why they're unsuccessful, such as, "I'm not cut out for math," or "I can't seem to concentrate on it," or "I hate it." These reasons are usually inaccurate. The real reason is usually psychological reversal. They consciously want to be successful at math, but subconsciously they're conflicted. When they think about their poor subject, the inner conflict causes the polarity to reverse, and their performance suffers accordingly. When they correct the psychological reversal and remove the energy block, their grades will usually improve. Some students are psychologically reversed about school in general. This is a major contributor to poor grades, and it often goes unnoticed. The students are considered slow or learning disabled, but in truth, they're just psychologically reversed in their thinking. We talked about athletes before. Athletes are prime examples of psychological reversal. No matter what type of sports they play, they often run into blocks or slumps that keep them from doing their best. They've already proven that they can do better, but their current play is not up to their best performance. This is almost always caused by some type of psychological reversal. The principal cause of psychological reversal is our negative self-defeating thoughts. This is not to imply that an individual is negative about everything in their life. Positive thinkers experience psychological reversal as well. For the most part, they're positive, but in certain areas of their life, they're psychologically reversed. Most people are only psychologically reversed in specific areas. Many do very well in most areas, but overcoming problems in one specific area seems to be out of their reach. If they're psychologically reversed, they'll sabotage their own efforts no matter how hard they try. Now, they're not weak, they're just psychologically reversed. With some people, psychological reversal shows up in almost every area of their lives. It's easy to spot these people because nothing ever seems to go right for them. They usually complain a lot, and they consider themselves a victim. Psychological reversal is also a chronic companion to those who suffer from depression. Most people know, at least intuitively, that negative thinking blocks their progress. However, what they do not know is that their negative thinking also creates an energy block in their body's electromagnetic system. It's important to understand that psychological reversal is not a character defect. It has nothing to do with character. Unknowingly, people who have psychological reversal also have a problem with the electrical polarity of their bodies. Because of their negative self-defeating thoughts, fears, phobias, and self-doubt, their energy systems literally work against them. As a result, no amount of positive thinking seems to work. The first thing I try to make them aware of is that they're not weak and the world is not against them. It's their own energy system that's causing the problem. Their batteries are in backwards. Now, how does this affect you? No matter what you want in life or what problems or fears you want to eliminate, psychological reversal will stop you dead in your tracks. It can limit you in any area of your life, mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. So as you can see, you may have good intentions and consciously want to improve your life. However, subconsciously you've programmed limits as to how much achievement or improvement that you can accept. You might say, I want that, or I believe that, but your conscious and your subconscious have different agendas, and automatically this undermines your plan, your intention, or your desire. For example, you might say, I want a lot of money, but you may have a subconscious programming or conflict that says, money is not spiritual. Money is the root of all evil. In order to have money, I'm going to have to do a lot of things that I don't want to do. Having money will keep me from being happy. I don't really deserve to be rich. If I have money, I won't know if people like me for my money or myself. If I have a lot of money, I'll lose some of my friends. If I have money, certain people will hate me. If I have more money than I need, someone else has to go without. If I make a lot of money, I'll betray my father because he never made a lot of money. I can't have a lot of money and have a lot of free time. If I have a lot of money, people will use me. If I make a lot of money and then I lose it, I'm going to feel stupid, and then I'm going to hate myself forever. These are just a few of the thoughts that people have about money. So, even if you have the ability to learn how to make a lot of money, the conflict between your conscious and your subconscious will stop you. This psychological reversal or blockage will leave you feeling frustrated, disappointed, or angry with yourself. And as you continue to criticize, judge, and get down on yourself, it only reinforces the psychological reversal. The ultimate and painful result is that we end up settling for so much less than we deserve. We then go through life struggling to have the things that we want and coping with our problems, fears, and phobias the best way that we can. The good news is you can remove and replace the programs that limit you. In fact, psychological reversal can be corrected quickly and easily. Perhaps the most fundamental rule of all self-help books and training programs is that your consistent thoughts create your results. Now, it's been said many ways. You become what you think about all day long. Change your thoughts, change your life. But the meaning is the same. All personal growth boils down to this. If we want to change our reality, we must change our consistent thoughts. The main goal of psychotherapy and self-help has always been to have clients change their consistent thoughts so that their reality or the quality of their life will change for the better. The primary goal has been to get clients to think differently so that they can create a different or more positive experience. Their consistent thoughts, once changed, become their new reality. Unfortunately, most people are carrying around their thoughts of past abuses, fears, failures, guilt, and so on. Their consistent thoughts have become their reality. The condition of their life proves that they're right. Even though some of the areas of their lives are working, they're still loaded down by the volume of negative thoughts, beliefs, fears, and phobias that they've accumulated. And they use these as a limit or as an excuse as to why they cannot be, do, or have what they desire. And they'll continue to live this way until the energy block that these thoughts and experiences have created is erased and replaced. Now, what this boils down to is this. Yesterday's thoughts have created your present, and today's thoughts are creating your future. Said another way, if you keep thinking what you've been thinking, you're going to keep getting what you've been getting. And as you can see, the most vocal and emotionally driven thoughts become our consistent thoughts and thus our reality. Everything we experience in the external world is a mirror. Our conscious thoughts and feelings, and more importantly, our subconscious thoughts and feelings, send out a signal to the world to attract into our lives exactly what we believe about ourselves. When something negative happens to me, I ask myself, what am I still believing about myself that would attract this into my life? If I have an uncomfortable feeling and yet I'm still not tuning into what needs to be corrected, I ask the question, why am I feeling these negative feelings? What do I need to know about my life to make it different? If I'm willing to accept the answers, I'm given the information on an intuitive level that'll support me in making the corrections that will create more of what I want in my life. In viewing our life as a mirror, we're able to see what we believe at a deeper level, things our emotions and conscious mind distort and keep hidden from us. When we let our emotions rule our lives, we're easily drawn into relationships and experiences that are not in alignment with what we truly want. No one wants to consciously suffer. All of us would like to have a better life, free from fear and worry. It follows then that the way to achieve a better life and more freedom is to change our consistent thoughts, because Changing our consistent thoughts automatically changes our reality. Now, the best way to go about this is, number one, erase our limiting beliefs. Get rid of or erase the thoughts that are keeping us from having what we desire. And two, replace these thoughts with new ones that'll help us to achieve our dreams and reach our goals. Now, to accomplish this, you must begin by identifying which thoughts offer the most resistance or where you self-sabotage yourself. For example, I want to lose weight, but I can't stop eating. I want to do well in school, but I can't get myself to study. I want to have more money, but I can't find a way to earn more money. I want to clean the clutter in my life, but I don't feel like doing it. I want to finish this project, but I just can't get myself to do it. Now notice what's common about all these self-sabotaging statements. They all have a but in them. I want to do this, but. I want to have that, but. I often tell my clients that anytime they use the word but, it completely negates or erases everything that they said before that. So if they say, I want this or I want that but, then I listen to everything they say after the but, because I know that's what they truly believe. So the key is to identify your negative self-talk. Why? Because your self-talk creates your consistent thoughts. You literally talk yourself into believing that what you say is true. Now here are some examples of negative self-talk. I'm fat and ugly. What's wrong with me? I really need help. I'm so ashamed of. I'm disgusting. I'm lazy. I hate myself when. I can't do anything right. I'll never be able to take care of myself. What's the matter with me? No one could love me. I let people push me around. I'm weak. I have no willpower. There's something the matter with me. I just can't forgive myself. I'm not very smart. Every time I try, I fail. Now here's what you need to know. Exposing these useless, limiting beliefs actually weakens their influence. The problem with limiting beliefs is that they cause a negative emotional block in our energy system. Beliefs are very powerful. We fight wars over them, and we build monuments to them. Psychology, religion, and political systems are built on them. But sometimes they just aren't true. We just think they are. In order to erase these beliefs, we need to look at them and examine them to see if they serve us or if they hinder us. With careful examination, each and every block to success, happiness, and personal performance can be eliminated, thereby providing new, consistent thoughts that will serve us. Once the negative thoughts are gone, then we can replace them with new thoughts that'll help us to create the life that we truly desire. We can completely re-engineer our system, erase our energy blocks, and install our dreams. Once this is done, our finances can flourish, our relationships can be happy and stress-free, and we can feel at peace most of the time. As you've already learned, there is usually psychological reversal, so we have to deal with the negative thoughts and conflicts that are keeping us from reaching our destination. Now, one of the ways to do this that's very helpful is to identify the illogical or false thinking that's keeping you from being or doing or having what you desire. Now, when you challenge your own beliefs, you get a better sense of whether or not they're logical, because there is no reality, only perception. Now, if this is true, then if you understand what you perceive and you're able to see that it's illogical, then you can get rid of it in order to create a new belief that allows you to do and have what you want. So one of the best ways to use this is to use what I call the litmus logic test. And you can use it as a yardstick for analyzing your thoughts to see if they're no longer serving you. And here's how it works. Number one, ask yourself, is what I believe factually accurate? In other words, if I say earning enough money to have everything I desire is difficult, is that factually accurate? Obviously it's not. Number two, is the thought or belief in my best interest? No. Having this thought is not in my best interest. Number three, does it make my life easier or more difficult? Obviously, it makes my life more difficult. Number four, does it get me what I want instead of what I don't want? The answer again, no. It doesn't get me what I want. So, it's obvious after you run this test that it's in your best interest to change that particular belief or thought now because it no longer serves you. You've answered 4 questions, and all of the 4 questions told you that that belief, it's not logical, it's not in your best interest, it makes your life more difficult, and it keeps you from getting what you want. That's your motivation for changing that belief. Now, once you're convinced that it no longer serves you and you want to get rid of it, then you can erase it and replace it with a new belief. Every time you speak, you condition your system or reinforce the beliefs that you already hold to be true. And the way you do this is through your habitual vocabulary. For example, how do you feel after saying these words? Depressed, exhausted, ugly, hateful, devastated, desperate, terrible, awful, afraid, dying, lonely, stressed out, exhausted, drained. What do all these words have in common? All of them create negative feelings and emotion. Now, how do you feel when you say these words? Excited, passionate, energized, first class, vibrant, wonderful, fabulous, blessed, ecstatic, gifted, magical, awesome, unstoppable. What do all these words have in common? All of these words create positive feelings and emotion. What this means is that you need to find words that create positive emotion. You can internally convert or reframe the words so that they no longer produce negative emotion in your system. In addition to using only words that create positive emotion, you can use affirmations. Now, affirmations are statements that we say out loud or repeat in our mind that express a positive state that we'd like to experience or conditions that we'd like to change in our lives. Essentially, an affirmation is a statement that is clearly contrary to fact, but it's said as though it were true. So the question we need to ask, do affirmations really work? If we listen to our own self-talk, we can see concrete proof that affirmations work. Our self-talk and everyday conversation contains consistent affirmations regarding our existing beliefs and attitudes. These affirmations have brought us to where we are right now. They either allow us to create what we desire, or they keep us from having what we desire. Why are affirmations so powerful, and why do they work? Simply stated, the persistent repetition of an affirmation or an idea, especially when coupled with emotion, conditions the mind to see things differently. The affirmation eventually becomes installed as a consistent thought. Now, since our consistent thoughts become our reality, affirmations are the key to changing our reality. What you are experiencing in your life right now is a reflection of your existing affirmations, the ones that your mind believes are true. The good news is that once a new affirmation or consistent thought truly takes place, it's just as obstinate as the previous thought which it replaced. To revert back to where you were would be inconsistent with your newly resident consistent thought. It's been my experience that affirmations are the easiest and one of the most powerful ways to replace negative thoughts and create the life we desire. They're highly reliable and they always work when used in a consistent manner. Besides yourself, who else is programming your subconscious? There are other sources that inhibit your ability to overcome your problems and fears and live the life that you truly desire. These sources reinforce your negative beliefs that you already have and cause you to either stay where you are or even make things worse. Here are some of the typical outside sources that can keep you from overcoming your problems and fears and create the life you desire. Non-stop negative friends, family, and coworkers. TV or radio news. Keep in mind, it's actually possible to live without watching or listening to the news. Religion. Any religion that makes you feel bad about yourself. Newspapers. More news that's full of negativity. Music. Any music that's negative or agitates your system. Films. Any film that has violence or a negative message. Books. Any book that has violence or a negative message. If any of these have stopped you or are slowing you down, then you need to change or replace them. Changing or replacing any of them can help you to create new thoughts and thus a new reality. Also, why not replace some of them by starting your own Success University? Read positive books and listen to positive audio programs. Also listen to uplifting music. This will attract a better quality of life for you. A small investment in time and money for these books and audio programs far outweighs the cost because they're an investment in the quality of your life. The combination of everything that we've discussed will help you to get free of your limiting beliefs and install new beliefs that will help you to change any aspect of your life. Using this information alone will go a long way in accomplishing this goal. In time, your new set of beliefs will take hold, and there will no longer be conflicting thoughts and beliefs that will cause you to self-sabotage your life.